A Nation on Wheels. Written by David Dreyer. Introduction. The world is full of cars and trucks. There are over 600 million of them. They are in even the smallest town in the smallest country. There are over 200 million cars and trucks just in the United States. Most of these vehicles are automobiles. We are a nation moving on wheels. The early days. People have always needed to travel. At first, people walked everywhere, even long distances. Then, they tamed animals to ride and taught some to pull wagons. Horses, camels, and even elephants helped people make trips and carry things. Imagine riding to school on an elephant. Using animals was better than walking, but it was still slow. Inventors tried to build a machine with wheels to carry people faster. They thought of building an engine to run it. They tried running engines with steam or with electricity, but neither engine worked well enough. In the late 1880s, people made engines that could run on gasoline or gas. These engines were small but powerful. They could travel faster and go farther. Today, most cars use gas engines. Do you know? Which word came first, car or automobile? Car was first used in 1301 to describe a Celtic war chariot. Automobile was first used by a Frenchman in 1883 to describe electric cars. How are they used now? How cars are made. The first cars did not look like the ones you see today. They looked like carriages without horses. People even called them horseless carriages. At first, cars were made one at a time by hand. It took a long time. They were expensive. Not everyone could afford a handmade car. People tried ways to manufacture cars faster and at a lower cost. In 1896, one early company could make only 13 cars in a year. But by 1899, a company could make over 2,000. In 1903, Henry Ford started the Ford Motor Company in Detroit, Michigan. Detroit would soon become the center of car making. Ford's company sold a car called the Model T. Ford wanted to make cars that cost less, so more people could buy them. This meant he had to manufacture more cars and do it faster. Ford thought about all the ways he could do this. In 1913, he invented the assembly line. It was a faster and cheaper way to make a car. Soon, other companies made their cars this way. Now, almost everyone could buy a car. By 1929, over 3.5 million cars were on the road. There were so many cars that people had to build more roads. What is an assembly line? On an assembly line, a car is assembled, put together, one piece at a time. Machines pull unfinished cars through the factory in a long line. As each car moves along the line, parts are added to it. At the end of the line, the car is complete. For years, people did all the work on an assembly line. But today, machines called robots often do this work. These robots are not like the ones in movies. These are special machines that work the same way that an arm and hand work. Robots can work without getting tired. Companies that make cars. 3 big companies have been making cars in the United States for a long time: General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford. Since cars first hit the streets, American companies have led the world in car production. In the 1960s and 70s, a Japanese company named Toyota began offering cars that were built to last longer and break down less often than most American-made cars. But the American car manufacturers still sold the most cars. Then, in 2007, the pattern changed. Toyota, the first foreign company to do so, sold more cars and trucks than any other company in the world. Toyotas are not the only cars made outside the United States. Volkswagen and BMW are imported from Germany. But the countries of Japan and South Korea have brought the highest numbers of cars into the United States. U.S. car makers and brands in 2007. Chrysler makes the Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep. Ford makes the Ford, Lincoln, Mercury, Mazda, and Volvo. Some foreign car makers and brands in 2007. BMW makes the BMW, Mini, and Rolls-Royce. Volkswagen makes the Audi, Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, Skoda, and Seat. Honda makes the Honda and Acura. Nissan makes the Nissan and Infiniti. Hyundai. Kia. Problems caused by the automobile. Automobiles are helpful, but they can also cause serious problems for people. Exhaust, burning gases from a car's tailpipe, gets in the air. That means unhealthy chemicals get in the air that we breathe. These chemicals can make people sick. Every year, car companies try to reduce the amount of chemicals their cars make. Have you ever been in a traffic jam? All the cars on the road just sat still, and you couldn't go anywhere. So many cars are on the road today that it causes problems. Remember, there are about 200 million cars in the United States. That's almost as many cars as people. In fact, the number of cars has grown faster than the number of people. The future of the automobile. Years ago, most cars were unsafe in accidents. Today, special car parts help to protect people. Cars have seat belts. Babies and small children ride in safety seats. Newer cars have big airbags that inflate, fill with air, in accidents. What do you think would make cars even safer? Car companies are also working on new kinds of engines. One type of car, called a hybrid, uses both a gas engine and an electric motor. Hybrids use less gas. This might cut down on the unhealthy chemicals in the air. We will always be a nation that travels from one place to another. But will it always be on wheels? How will cars look in the future? How will they work? Perhaps your ideas will shape the future.